well, I thought about you and Dr. Carr. It was in class with Carr that I first got an understanding. Inherently, I think I knew, especially with the passing of my favorite person in the whole wide world, my grandmother passed, and then my dad, that there is a never ending tie and connection to the people that you love, and maybe people you don't love so much. They're always there. But Dr. Carr made it very poignant in reading the coming. It's just like there's this, yes, we are a sum total of the people who have ever lived, which is why that naming thing is so important too.
It's so important. And Karen, also, what is easy to miss, because we're really always talking and referencing our own lived moment. See, your grandmother called for you, conjured you, talked to you, spoke to you before you were ever conceived. See, she called you forward. See, we have no lived memory of that because she preceded you in time, right? But by the time you arrived, the love was already established. It was waiting for you. She simply invited you into. You never had to agree with her that we were going to love each other, right? She already had it prepared for you. And that's why ancestral veneration is so critical, because ancestral veneration is saying, do not forget to honor not just who you love, but who loved the idea of your coming, who loved the very idea of your coming. See, conception happens not just when a man and woman have sex. Conception really is in the spirit. Because if we're going to really go here, a man and woman can have sex and conceive nothing. I can't hear nobody out here in this radio land.
What you say now, Dr. Black? Right. What you say?
See, conception is not sex. Conception is not sex. Conception is when the spirits and the ancestors gather and say, we need one to come to handle X, Y, or Z. And when God and the ancestors agree, the act of sex is the physical means by which they send that spirit. Which is why you can conceive and you don't have any idea of the height, the depth, the eye color, you don't know nothing, because it is not your doing. It's not your doing.
Okay. I know this is the answer. So I'm going through my timeline today and I run across this video that I was going to play for you later, but it just seems so appropriate. So there's a woman that I guess she does these TikTok talks, these TikTok talks is what I guess they're called. And she was talking about, she was getting a lot of praise for being a great mother. Mm-hmm. And she had to let folk know something today. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Play that clip, Smiz.
Recently, I was out to lunch with an old friend of mine who has been watching my TikToks and seeing my Facebook. And she said, Diva, you are such a great parent, and it must be so great to have this great relationship with all your children. Lots of greats in there. Story time. That's not true, baby. And let me tell you what I told her. Yes, I have this great relationship with two of my sons. My youngest daughter, my sunshine, is always around. That's who I'm usually talking about in these videos. But I have an oldest son who has chosen to go no contact with me and most of the family. Here's where I differ from a lot of people. I honor his space. I don't try to make up some type of story about how I did the best I could, even though I did. How, he should have been grateful for the life that I worked hard to give him. Mm-hmm. But see, I'm a recovering alcoholic. And I wasn't recovering when he was in his early teens. I'm not going to feed my ego by saying, I'm your mother. I did the best I could. I was dealing with a lot. Whether or not that's true, I honor his truth. I really do. I love my son. I miss him. However, I won't be changing my number anytime soon, and the code to the front door that he has will never change. He can always get into any home that I live in. But I'm not going to sit here in front of my other kids or in front of you guys and say, oh, he's gone no contact. I don't understand. I understand completely. And I'm quite happy that I raised a grown-ass man who can stand up for his feelings. I send him messages that I hope he's getting some therapy because I was his mother and I know he probably needs it. But other than that, I honor his space. I think sometimes that's the difference between Gen X parents and our boomer generation. Because, yeah, I'm your mom. I messed you up. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
When we come back,
We parent each of our children.
we're gonna dissect this. Yes. What is our responsibility as people raised by parents that were not perfect? She went somewhere I didn't expect, but I appreciated it.
Yes.
As a person raised by complicated human beings.
Yes. Yes. Well, we're all raised by complicated human beings, right? And there are two things I want to say to this. This is a brilliant point, and it's so important. It's so important. Number one, our first error is we in this country, now we didn't do this in the motherland, but in this country, we keep asking our parents to be God, which is why all parents end up apologizing. Every parent I've ever known is sorry. We keep asking parents to be God. Listen, parents don't raise children. Communities raise children. But this is what the ancestors meant when they said it takes a whole village. Now, and people haven't understood that statement, Karen.
Wait, Hillary did. Wait, hold on. Hillary Clinton didn't say that.
No, she said
Marian Wright Edelman, she borrowed it for Children's Defense Fund.
Hillary Clinton did not say that. That's right.
No.
That's an African proverb. And people are misquoting the African proverb. The proverb is not, it takes a village to raise a child. The proverb is, it takes a whole village to raise a child. But people misunderstand that. It doesn't mean it takes a whole village as in it takes everybody. It takes a whole village, a healthy one. The holism is the condition of the village, not how many people are in it. Woo! And if people, see, children are not supposed to look to parents to love me, adore me, nurture me, feed me, teach me, honor me, have the greatest integrity before me, forgive me best, endure me. We're asking too much from these because they were sent through you. Does not make those people more divine to you. And every person, and I am first on the list, every Black person I know got issues with our parents. And it's because we keep trying to figure out why they wasn't holy, why they weren't what I dreamed. Because your parents were supposed to get you here. That's their achievement.
Well, since we're talking about Oscars, part of that is that we watch television. You know, I grew up in the era of My Three Sons and the Brady Bunch and Leave It to Beaver, Ward and June Cleaver and all that. Absolutely. And you get these images, even Lucy and Desi, of what it looks like to be, you know, in a loving relationship and what it looks like to be in a whole family. It wasn't until, you know, Good Times that even though Florida and James, you know, even though they didn't have a lot of money, there was a whole lot of love in that household. Absolutely. And it was, you know, there was a through line of integrity and the way in which they communicated with the children. And it was unrealistic. You know, my parents were 23 and 25 when they had me. I think back to me being 23. Lord have mercy. As a parent, how many mistakes? So I love that she said, listen, my son's in therapy. I said, hey, he needed it. I was an alcoholic, like a real alcoholic, not recovering when I was raising him.
That's right.
I was like,
see, here's the issue, Karen.
Wow.
The son is in therapy, not because you were an alcoholic. The son is in therapy because he expected you not to be one. See, it's the expectation that's the reason we're in therapy. That's why we're in therapy. We're not in therapy because we had messed up parents. Who was Harriet Tubman's daddy?
Oh, no.
Who in the hell knows? We don't know no name. We don't know no name. Who was Nat Turner's mama? Don't nobody know. It's a deep thing, but it didn't keep them from greatness, because the issue is we keep trying to figure out, why couldn't I get parents who came error-free? But here's the catch, and I love what the sister was saying. I love. I mean, that quote has really wound me up, because here's the issue. There is no parent who can diminish the brilliance of a child's destiny if that child ever learns it. There's no parent who can diminish it. The problem is we as children don't know that. There's no teacher who can rob me of my brilliance if in fact I'm clear I have it. No teacher has that power on this planet. No rain can wash away this blackness. I don't care how hard it rains. None. My own agency is greater than my father's weakness. But I thought differently. I thought my father, whatever he did, the way he treated me, was enough to diminish me. Not only was it not enough, I spent years longing and begging and hoping that daddy would say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, etc., etc. And what's funny is when our parents say I'm wrong, we still go to therapy. Because the problem was not the flawed parents. That was not the problem. It was not the problem. The problem was the flawed expectation